This episode is brought to you by In the Crew 512, Austin's first and only streetwear brand. If you're from Austin or even if you just love the city, make sure you check out inthecrew.com. Use the code HALFTIME for 15% off your entire order. Now, enough of me talking. Enjoy the show.
Flying private way from coach. Was a player, now I coach. On the mill, I'm trying to grow.
Welcome back to another episode of Halftime Company, man. Today I'm so excited, family, because I got amazing brother right next to me, Mr. Austin McConnell. My man, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Bro,
Appreciate you for having me.
Hey, bro, I'm so thankful that you decided to just hop down, and this is the first podcast too, right?
Yeah, first podcast I've been on. Got a lot of buddies that have been on podcasts, some buddies that have podcasts, but yes, first one, yeah.
Man, I'm so excited, man. And so before we get into just conversation about your life and just what you do and all that good stuff,
Yeah.
if you could just give a little quick background to our family, like, who you are, where you from, what
Yeah.
you do out in Austin,
Yeah.
and then we'll just start rolling from there.
Yeah, so Austin McConnell, originally from small town called Yazoo City, Mississippi, population of about 2,000 people. But moved here, been here for 4 years, something like that. I do like real estate investment. I deal with a lot of investors and like properties, like flipping properties and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
How was Mississippi, growing up in Mississippi?
Man, Mississippi was good, man. I can't complain because it's created me the person who I am today. But there's not much there, man. There's not
Yeah.
much to do. I mean, it's a lot of country people. I've got the accent for sure, but don't let it fool you. I'm not as country as the accent might make me seem. But no, there's a lot of stuff. People hunt, people go fishing, people ride horses. People love football, baseball out there. But other than that, man, there's really not much else. We don't got no pro teams. People are big Ole Miss or Mississippi State fans. It's one of those two.
So it's that difference,
so that's really, when football season comes around, that's kind of the big thing. It's like, small town vibes, football season for the high school and then college football. So
That's what's
pretty
up,
much it.
man.
Yeah, man.
And that's a beautiful part of the state, though.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's very, it's a big culture shock for people that are city life and never been there. And they're just like, whoa. Because, like, there's really, I don't want to say there's no laws, but really you can do whatever you want because you're not in a city. You're out in the country and you can do whatever you want, man.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
So how long were you there before you got to come into Austin?
I grew up there. So I've
Okay.
been there since I was, let me see, I'm 27. I was there till I was about 22. I turned 28 here in about 20 days. So once that hits, it'll be about 5 years then.
Okay.
But yeah, since I was 22.
Happy early birthday, man.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
28, big 28.
Yes,
I think,
sir.
man. You
Yes, sir.
closing in on that big 30.
Oh, man.
3-0.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I wish I was still 21. So.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I had so much fear getting to 30. I was like, oh, I'm about to be 30 years old. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just gotten so much better.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's what I've heard. It's like the mentality. It's like when you're in your 20s, you feel like you're so behind in life, and you're playing catch up with everybody. But really, everybody's just kind of at their own pace and hits their peak when they hit it. There's no guidebook to it, and that's something I had to come to terms with in life, and still coming to terms with it. Because when you're around successful people, you got successful friends. You're like, man, I want to. They're my age, and they're driving that supercar. They're a millionaire. They got all these followers, and I don't really care about followers on Instagram. That's not really my thing, but yeah, you see that, you're like, man, like, what can I do to get there? But really, if you just trust the process and trust yourself and what you're doing, you'll get there.
Everybody has their own pace.
Yeah, exactly.
And your pace starts and things start to get messed up when you try to match pace with somebody else.
Exactly.
Just
It's like
staying in lane.
yeah, man, it's like trying to run. It's like trying to a person that does the 100-meter dash trying to race Usain Bolt. It's like that's not the same race. It's a different race, man.
Different race.
Yeah.
I love that, man. So what? Why Austin though? Why did you decide to come to Austin?
Man, I didn't want to work a normal 9-to-5 job. Quite frankly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Went to college, was in my my fourth year. Still had no idea what I wanted to do, man. I mean, I went in there wanting to do something engineering or something in like construction, but then that didn't work out. I wasn't really didn't feel like something I wanted to do. So then I switched over to something else and then something else. And then Really, I'm glad I went to college, but I don't think everybody should go to college unless you're going for like something engineering, doctor, lawyer, something like that. If you're just going for a normal marketing degree, there's you don't need to go to college for that nowadays. But I was there anyways. And I had a fraternity brother who had was in a fraternity with, and he graduated the year before me, and he came back one weekend and asked, I was like, hey, what are you doing now? He's like, well, I'm over in Austin, Texas, and he told me what he was doing. I was like, huh. It really piqued my interest. And like literally next day, bought my real estate courses, I studied for the license, and did that all without my parents knowing. Did all that, and then told my parents I graduated. I didn't graduate, and moved up here. And then like 3 months later, they found out I dropped out of college. Kind of wasn't a good ordeal for the next couple of months, but I ended up making it work out. It paid off. Sometimes my dad still gets at me. He's like, you only got a couple hours. You go get that degree. I was like, nah, I'm good. I appreciate it, but I'm good. But
That's what's
so,
up, man.
yeah.
And let me ask you this: is Austin kind of similar to home? Because you said there's a lot of hunting, fishing, a lot of like outdoor stuff.
Nah, not really. It's not the same outdoor stuff. And what I mean, like in Austin, outdoor stuff. You got the parks, and you got the hiking, and you got the hills, and you got you do got the lake. We had love lake days. I forgot to mention that we had we got a lake house back at home, boat, all that stuff. And during the summertime when I was there, I'd be on the lake all the time, every day. But no, not really the same. It's just a different vibes. Again, small town. You kind of got to have a group, and you're always with that group, and like y'all are kind of always doing the same thing. I do the same thing here too with my group, but not really the same vibe, and that's why I left. I just wanted to change.
Yeah.
I wanted to reinvent who I was. I wanted to move somewhere where nobody knew who I was, because when you're in a small town, a secret can't be kept there. It can't. I mean, it passes. A secret you try to keep is known by everybody else the next day. So I just wanted to go somewhere where nobody knew me.
Yep, and known forever too. They don't forget.
Yeah, they don't forget. But all of a sudden, you got people coming in, people going out. So it's
A
pretty
forever
nice.
young city. You know what I mean, with the college and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
But don't get it twisted. Austin isn't as big as everybody thinks it is.
It's not.
Sometimes you will run into some people you may not want to run into, whether it's exes or whatever. But I've run into a bunch of people multiple times, so it's not as big as everybody might think it is. But it's getting there.
It's a good size though for you.
It is a good size.
Yeah.
It's good. They need to make the highways a bit bigger, because it's starting to get congested on those highways, man.
Man, this construction in Austin is terrible.
Man, I haven't driven 35 in probably a year, and I took it on the way here today, and I was like, man, now I remember.
Terrible.
Now I remember why I don't drive it. I always take Mopac. Always, Mopac's quick.
100%. And sometimes a little, especially coming to us, a little out the way, right? But man, 35 is absolutely terrible, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. I want to ask you this, because
Yeah.
you piqued my interest when you said this. You said that you had dropped out. Your parents didn't know. I guess what was your mindset at that moment whenever you did drop out? Was it like, because you said I wanted to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
Like, take me through that a little bit more. Like, what were you really thinking in that moment?
Man, so, love my dad, love my parents, how they raised me and everything like that. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I grew up from a very well-off family. Didn't struggle financially at all. Now that I've had my struggles, but when it comes to financial side of it, never had struggles. Never had to, miss a meal or anything like that. And people quickly learned that Austin, his dad's rich. All this stuff. So I became the rich friend. And so I wanted to go somewhere away from my family. Nothing against my family. I just wanted to go to another state and build my own self, make my own money, have my own finances, and where nobody knew my background like that, especially at that early on. Now I don't care if people know my background.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to build a life for myself and figure out who Austin was, because I didn't really know who I was. And you really don't until you really step off and out of your comfort zone into a new place where you know absolutely nobody. Because I moved up here knowing nobody. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and you kind of already alluded to it. And I think that's kind of going to be your answer to my next question is, what kind of encouragement would you give to somebody who's like scared to take that step of just doing something?
You just got to do it, man. The key to growth is just stepping outside your comfort zone. If you're comfortable, then you're not growing. The more if you're uncomfortable, then you're learning, you're failing, whatever that may be, but you're growing and you're learning about yourself. How are you supposed to know about yourself if you can't get in uncomfortable situations? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And what's some big adjustments, or let's say trials that you had to go through in your life to get to the point that you're at today?
Man, I can't cook for shit. I miss my mama's cooking. Man, she could cook. That's what I miss. I miss my mama's cooking. But some trials, I mean, just being alone, man. You gotta be okay with being alone, and that was a tough one for me, man. You gotta be okay with being alone, and you gotta be okay with putting yourself out there, even though you don't want to meet new people and meet new crowds. I mean, I would have never met you if I wouldn't have put myself out there and met Christian, and then I wouldn't have met Will if I wouldn't have met Christian. So it's just all a domino effect, and that's how it can happen. And I mean, granted, it took me 4 years, almost 5, to build that, but I mean, sometimes that's what it takes. But yeah, and when I moved up here, I had a friend group when I first moved up here, and I don't hang out with those people no more, and I created a new friend group. So it's just a trial and error, man. That's all it is.
It's all evolving.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's just learning from mistakes, failures, what works, what doesn't work, and keep going forward. So.
I like you said that you gotta be alone. It's I think God does His best work in seasons of isolation.
He does.
When you're isolated away from everybody else, you're not trying to be so accessible to. You're just
exactly
100% dialed in on you, what you're trying to do, your craft, your focus on God. He does His best work when you're completely alone.
He does, and it's a hard thing to learn, and it'll be one of your most challenging moments, because I've had a couple of those moments like that. I'm going through one right now, but yeah, being alone is one of the best things ever, though, because eventually you get so happy being alone, like that's your peace, and like that's your escape away from all the other stuff that goes on in the world. Like, I love it now. I love being alone. I love being single. Now, don't get me wrong, I love being in relationships too, but I take advantage of being single. I get to be home. I get to play video games, chill. I get to watch Netflix however long I want. So and I get to do what I want. And but it's nice. It's nice.
That's awesome, man. And actually, you said something. How is being single in Austin?
Man, it's tough, man. It's tough, but you just kind of got to take it in stride, man. You can't rush anything. There's a lot of, I'm trying to figure out a way to word it, but. There's a lot of people that want relationships out here, but there's a lot of people out here that want relationships for the wrong reasons. Whether that's men, women, so you don't want to hop into anything too soon or too quick. You want to make sure that person's good for you. I've been in 3 relationships since I've been here. None of them worked out. I hope they're all doing well, but they didn't work out. And that maybe things on their end, maybe things on my end that I need to learn about myself. But how's it like being single? It's fun if you can make it fun. It sucks if you make it suck.
Yeah, if you make it suck.
But yeah, going on dates and stuff, I mean, it's cool. I mean, some people may look at it as a waste of time if it doesn't turn into anything, but it's like, you go on one date, it's probably not going to turn into something,
Exactly.
It's like, so you just got to go on dates, have fun with it, meet new people, you never know.
Yeah.
But you just got to go into it expecting nothing.
Yeah. I was going to say the dating life seems at least vibrant in Austin. Again, it's a very young city, but at the same time, on the flip side of that, since it is vibrant, there's a lot of movement.
Yeah.
Somebody might want something one day, might want something the next day.
A lot of options out there.
A lot of options, and that's just the world that we live in.
Yeah, you got social media and all this stuff, and all I think there's a new dating app every day that's created,
Oh yeah.
And you got all these. It's easy to get famous nowadays. It's easy to get rich nowadays. So there's just different options out there, and it's like you just got to be confident in yourself and know that you're enough. And one day, hopefully, somebody will think the same of you, and if they don't, they weren't the person for you.
Exactly. And it's kind of cool because if you're operating in that season of isolation, it's gonna come to you anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. What's meant for you is gonna come to you. You just gotta trust the process, trust in God, and just do your normal things, and things will happen.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this, because now I wanna skip over to real estate.
Okay.
So, how is dropping out of school, getting your real estate license, how has that journey been specifically in just the real estate
Man, it's a great journey of high stress and a lot of fun. It can it can make you very wealthy, very rich, but it can also make you want to rip your hair out. It's the form of real estate that I do. I'm not selling houses to people for them to live in. I'm buying the properties cheap, selling them to investors for them to flip. And so, you're having to deal with just people that want to sell their houses, but they don't want to come to terms with really what the house is worth. It's probably one of the hardest sales jobs you'll have. I mean,
Yeah.
but it pays dividends. I mean, it pays well, but you can go months without making a paycheck, and sometimes you can make somebody's yearly salary in a month. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum. This year we're about to be in April. I went January, February without making a paycheck. And then, March had one. April, I got one coming up. And then sometimes I'll have 3 in April. So it's really a bunch of ebbs and flows, but you got to find a way to stay consistent with it and keep that consistency with it. That's the rule to success with it. Just make sure you do the same thing every day, even though it's redundant. And it's like a lot of the things you do every day are very simple things, but they're very boring and very redundant.
Yeah.
But you just got to do them every day because they'll pay off in the long run. So.
You kind of said like you didn't get the check in January, February. Sales, specific type of sales can really kick your teeth in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean, you think one thing is going one way, and then all of a sudden it shifts. Not just a different way, like a completely like you're just like, what just happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a couple good, I guess, keys of success that you would give someone that's in sales? Really, just maybe in your field, but just sales in general.
Any sales in general, man. Network's the biggest one. It doesn't matter if I'm networking with you, but you're not even anything in real estate, as far as I know. But just network with people because you just never know. Call as many people as possible for sales. You might get 30 no's, but that next call may be your yes. Stick to a routine. Have a good routine. See a therapist. Seeing a therapist. I see one, and it's been the best thing I've ever done. Seeing a therapist, because it keeps your mental in check. Your mental is the most important. Your physical health and all that stuff can be great. Your financial health can be good, but if your mental health isn't good, then that stuff's going to end up not being good too. So your mental health is 100% key. But also, finding time to have free time. I know people, and they're very successful, and that's fine, that are 100% married to the game, and that's good. I'm 100% married to the game too, but I also take some time to have some free time, hang out with friends, grab a meal with some friends, grab a drink, go on vacation. You work so hard, you need to reward yourself every now and then. Otherwise, what are you working for? And we're young. I'm 27 years old, man. And I'm working hard because I want to be able to retire in my mid 30s, maybe low 40s. I don't want to retire in my 70s. Or my 60s. I want to be able to retire in my 40s and then enjoy all that other half of my life. So yeah, work hard. Definitely work hard. Don't spend all your money. Try to save some, throw some in some stocks, buy some real estate. And it definitely will pay off in the long run and make your life a lot easier for sure.
Yeah. Why do you think buying real estate is really important for people, especially in our generation, our age?
Because the reason why I think buying real estate is good, personally, I don't own a house, and I don't know if I'll ever buy a house to live in. I like the city life. I like the condo life. That's just my cup of tea. Maybe one day, who knows? Maybe I meet a girl and we start a family. Who knows? But it's good to have that equity. It's good to have, because you could let's say I buy a house for $300,000 and then I rent it out. And then I buy another house, then I buy another house, and another house, and then I got 10 properties all worth $300,000 to $500,000. Well, that's over $1 million in equity, and you can use that money to then go buy more assets. You can use that as leverage. You can use that as capital, line of credit. So, and look at the richest people in the world. Most of them got rich off real estate. I mean, look at Bill Gates. He's yes, he created Microsoft, but I don't know. I think it was like tens of thousands of land for farming.
Yeah, he has crazy amounts.
Yeah, I mean, look, why? And you got all these millionaires and billionaires coming in, pouring in, buying real estate. So obviously, if they're doing it, then they know what they're doing, because those guys, they don't spend money for nothing. So, I think real estate's the ultimate tool for long-term wealth.
Y'all hear that? Real estate. And it's not a game.
It's not.
Man, if y'all can, I mean, obviously, we're in tight times. But if you can save and be able to buy something, buy your own piece of property, like you're saying, or have just a very good asset. Yeah. And you're not saying something crazy where you got to go buy this $1 million property.
No.
Like,
yeah, my boss, so a property I just sold on Friday. Thankfully. But my boss, he owns a property in that same street, and he bought it back in 2014 for $80,000. Now that house is worth $250,000 just 10 years later. And I've got an investor of mine. His dad bought a cabin in Vail, Colorado. He bought the land for $10,000, and that house is now worth millions of dollars. So, yes, well, can the market decline? Could we end up in a 2008 situation with a recession? Of course, but real estate is never going to be worth nothing.
Right.
It's always going to go up. It's always going to go down. You just got to find the right time to buy it. Best time to buy it is when interest rates are high, because if interest rates are high, the prices are going to be low. There's a lot of people in 2020 through 2022 that bought a lot of real estate, and they bought it because interest rates were low, like 3%. But the house prices were $200,000 higher than they were actually worth. But they were going after the interest rate. They didn't realize now, fast forward now, there's a lot of houses getting foreclosed on because they thought they were getting a good deal, but really they weren't, because 3% versus 8% interest rate, it's not $200,000 difference.
No.
Unless you're buying a multi-million-dollar house, and if you're doing that, then you don't need my advice on that.
Right.
But if you're just getting into it, don't worry about the interest rate, because you can always that's always going to change. And you can always change your loan based on that interest rate. So,
okay. Honestly, I never even thought about it like that.
Yeah.
That's another gem. Y'all better be jotting down them notes, because
if interest rates are high, prices are going to be low.
Especially for the first time home buyer. So
exactly, yeah. And there's so many programs out there for people too. I know some people. I haven't done it. I've thought about doing it, but I haven't done it. You can buy a duplex. I believe it's with FHA, which is like no money down, first time home buyer. It's a no money down type program, and pretty much you live in one side and you can rent out the other side. So pretty much the other side's paying for your mortgage, so you're living for free, and then you use that money that you have in that property to then go buy another one. And then another one. Yeah, it's just rinse, repeat. It's actually called the Burr method. I just don't know what the Burr stands for.
Yeah, that's my buddy Chris was actually talking about that. He at one point he was living in a duplex that he could rent out the other side. Mm-hmm. They pay for it, and it's like, then all of a sudden I move out, somebody else moves in on this side. Yep. Now I got twice, and I'm moving, and then I just keep doing that over and over and over again. Yep. And they're paying for my mortgage. Yeah, man, I know. I got buddies that they not just started, but they started doing it on their own, and it's night and day. Like I see them one day, they're just working a normal job, and then they get into it, and they're in it for about 2 years, and then third year, fourth year, whatever. I see a story, and they're posting. They got Rolex on, they got Lamborghini. I know a guy in Denver. Man, he might be the richest guy that I know. I don't know him like on a like we're a text to text basis, but I know him. He knows me. We've DM'd a couple times. Man, he's probably got over $1 million in just watches alone. I think he owns over 200 properties just in Denver. In Denver?
Yeah, just in Denver. And but like he works for himself, and he's in the real estate game, and I think he's 29. 30 maybe, and he sits courtside at the Nuggets game. He was there for championship game courtside, so like that's what I'm saying. Like there's you can find a way. You just gotta be willing to wade through the mud for a little bit to get there. Like nothing ever comes easy unless you win the lottery or it got handed down to you.
You know what I'm saying? Or hit a parlay or something.
Yeah, but that's you know how that goes.
But like it's kind of it brings me back to the point where you dropped out to pursue this, and for so long, the term dropout was very bad. You're a dropout. You dropped out. You quit. You didn't finish. Yeah. But it's like, well, it's not that I didn't quit. I quit on something that I'm not focused on.
Yeah.
I'm pursuing something else that could
Mm-hmm.
bring me in massive dividends.
Yeah.
So I didn't quit. I just shifted my focus, and I'm putting all my effort into this. And to your point, like that guy who's 29 years old, maybe he has a degree, but does that degree really
No, he
matter?
doesn't have a degree either. Yeah.
He doesn't have a degree.
Because I've
So,
heard him on a podcast. Yeah, he doesn't have a degree either.
so it's like he was able to build this massive wealth to where he probably will never ever need money ever again
No,
for the rest
yeah.
of his life.
I know one of his goals is he's retiring by 30. He will retire by 30, and I promise you, he is not gonna have to worry about money for the rest of his life unless he does something stupid. But I'm telling you, I mean, the guy's got over $8 million in cars,
And
I
now
mean,
he can go get a degree if he wants to.
Yeah, if he wants to, yeah, but he don't need it.
He don't need
He's
it.
got everything he wants in life.
Amazing.
And I don't, and when I got out of college, when I dropped out of college, I didn't think that I was going into something that would lead me to where I'm at now. But it's a risk you got to take. If it doesn't work out, go back to college. But I didn't want to go into something that I wasn't passionate about or I wasn't interested. I hated school, man.
Yeah.
I'm street smart. I'm not a book smart guy. I'm not. But I'm street smart. I wasn't into the books. I wasn't into the lectures and all that stuff and going to class and doing the homework. I'd rather just do what I want to do and find a way to be successful at doing what I'm doing. And that's the best you can do. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You find something else.
You keep it moving.
Yeah, keep going. And life's going to change. The job you're passionate about now, you may not be passionate about it in 5 years, and you might find something else you're passionate about. Go attack that 100%. You know, it's like you don't have to stick in one thing forever.
Yeah. I actually love that. You don't have to stick in to one thing forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times some people will just stick to things. This has to work. This has to work. This has to work. This is the way that the world does it. Like this. I would just tell you, and I would encourage you, stop worrying about the world. Focus on what you feel in your heart and what you think.
Yeah, you can't worry about what other people think of you. Who cares? Now, I used to think that I used to care so much about what people thought of me, man. So much. But now it gets to the point, I don't care. You don't like me, that's cool, man. That's cool. I don't hate people. I don't care. I'm doing me, and if you don't like me, that's fine. If you like me, cool. I'll like you back. But, yeah.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, we're not necessarily giving the energy to anybody that don't really want to mess with us. We're giving all our love and energy to people that do want to be in community with us.
Exactly. And that's the greatest thing. I used to be, when I was in college, man, I wanted so many friends. I wanted hundreds of friends.
Yeah.
Now, I'm cool with my 5, my 6 that I got. Like, I like a close circle. I don't, when you go through a lot in life, you'll learn, like, you can't trust everybody. You know, people got to earn that trust. Some people believe trust is given. Some people believe you got to earn that trust. I kind of teeter on both sides of it. But yeah, man, keeping a close circle is the easiest thing for you in life. Keeping your close friends, just keeping a group of close friends, and that's it. You don't need 20 friends. That's a lot of work.
It is.
20 friends, but you got five guys. You keep them in a group chat. We got a group chat. Me, Will West, Christian West. I don't know if you met my boy Frenchie before.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's always with us. You'll always see him in a post.
Maybe I did.
But
I'll definitely say what's up
Frenchie,
next time.
and then Grant, and then our boy Wyatt. I don't know if you've met him either, but he's in post. But it's just
Wyatt,
us.
yeah.
It's just us guys. That's
You know
it.
what?
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. It's like less is more.
Yeah, less is more, man.
You know, and I was the same way. I thought the more friends I had, the better off I was. But you know, what I realized, the less friends I have, the better off I am.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like when a rocket takes off into the atmosphere, it detaches certain things.
Yeah,
Certain parts come apart. So you gotta let certain things go as you're going through life, and again, less is more.
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole rocket don't really travel through space. Is a certain part that does.
Yeah, no,
So-
well, I learned it was a hard lesson to learn and an expensive lesson. But you learn who's your real friends, who don't. So, all right, let me back up. So, I make decent money, and I used to be huge in the club scene, huge. Pop bottles every weekend. We'd go crazy. I'd go crazy, and there's always me, Will West, Christian West. And then, a couple other people who I thought were my friends at the time. I'm not going to say names. But, you notice that those people only hit you up when you're popping those bottles, when you're spending that money. But outside of that, those people don't hit you up. So that's when I stopped. There was a point where I just stopped and I looked who hit me up.
To
And
see.
I was like, okay, now I know who is and who isn't. So it's an expensive lesson to learn, but hey, you know, again, you got to learn it somehow. So
Yeah, and also you gotta test people too, man. You gotta
Yeah.
test people's loyalty.
For
as
sure,
well.
for sure.
You know, I'm not saying like go like be manipulative and test people. You know, no. What I'm saying is to your point. You know, let me just fall back, and let me just see who hit me up.
Yeah.
That's a test.
What was it? I can't remember what rapper it was. I can't remember if it was it Paul? I can't remember if it was Paul Wall or Fat Joe. But they're talking about one time he had a big group of friends and he was talking about, he told him, man, I'm broke. And then like after that, he just waited and see who hit him up after he told all his friends that he was broke. And he said like only like 3 or 4 of them hit him up after that. So that's how he figured out who was
really down with me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And it really don't take nothing to be down with somebody. Because the minute that this is my thing, you never know who's gonna blow.
You don't.
You
You
never
got
know.
no idea, man.
You
got
never
no
know.
idea.
You could be completely throwing dirt on somebody, not realizing that dirt is essential to them sprouting.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
And I think that it's so important to just treat everybody with love, respect, and kindness.
Absolutely.
And I love how you did it. Was just like, you know what, like I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. My energy is being pulled. Let me just fall back and let me just see, you know, where I can fill my cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is gonna fill my cup, or am I only pouring into people?
Yeah.
So I like that, man. Real quick, cause I definitely want to ask you this before we get out of here, man.
Yeah.
What's something that you want to bring awareness to in the world that we live in today?
Man, something I want to get in. We're gonna get a little deep here. So something I want to get into is like, man, I really encourage people to like see a therapist or talk to people, reach out to people. There's a lot of people out here that just think they're alone. And like, and we're talking about, it's good to be alone, but like, you don't have to be alone when it comes to your feelings and stuff like that. I'm a big advocate on like suicide awareness and stuff like that. My mom, she committed suicide about two and a half years ago, and that was tough for me. That took me in a really dark place of partying, doing drugs, drinking, and stuff like that. And it really made me aware, like, to always reach out to people I care about. Always make sure I tell everybody I love them. I tell everybody I love them. If you're my friend, I'm gonna tell you I love you. I don't care. Like, that's something I like that matters to me, is like people taking care of themselves. You're not alone. It doesn't matter if you're at rock bottom. I promise you, the only way you can go is up. So just reach out to people. Don't think that your life is is that hard. It might feel hard right now, but it's not hard later on if you just move forward and just keep doing the necessary things you need to do to pick yourself back up. So yeah, that's a big one to me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sorry about your mom.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's any loss is tough.
Yeah,
right?
any loss is tough, but it's taught me a lot of things about myself, and it brought me and my dad a lot closer. I mean, me and my dad have a phenomenal relationship now. I hate that that's the expense of it, but again, it's life. But it brings you a lot closer. It makes you value. It makes you value the little things in life, and really makes you realize like what's important in life and what's not really that important.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's a big one. Just, it's okay. If you gotta take anti-anxiety meds, that's cool. I'll take them.
Yeah.
If you gotta see a therapist, that's cool. Go see a therapist. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't have to be just a thing that, it's okay if women do it. Men can do it too.
Right.
So.
Don't be tough about it.
Yeah. You don't got to be tough about it. You don't got to thug it out. You just, bro, we're all human.
Yeah.
We're all human beings. We all got feelings, whether, we could talk about them or not. It's okay to talk about them. I talk about them with Will West. I talk about them with Christian. I talk about my feelings with all my friends.
Vulnerability is key.
Yeah, it is. It's key.
Yeah, man. And what would you, you kind of alluded to a little bit, but what would you say to somebody that is dealing with suicide, or maybe that's dealing with someone that has committed suicide in their life?
Go to sleep and wake up the next day and see if you feel the same. Go to church, be around a good group of people. Your group is the best thing or the worst thing for you. If you got good people around you, talk to them. If they're really your friends, they'll care about you and they'll be there for you. If they're not your friends and if they make fun of you or whatever, then they weren't your friends to begin with, man. But yeah, talk to people. Don't drink, don't do drugs, unless they're prescribed, but don't do drugs. Drugs are going to mess up your brain, and they're going to mess up your brain for weeks after you're done taking the drugs. Don't get sloppy drunk. Alcohol is going to mess with your brain. Drink water, go work out, go out in the sun, all that stuff. Get a dog. I had a dog. She was great for my mental health. So yeah, all that stuff's, all the healthy things are important. Don't lead into, man, I'm gonna go get drunk, I'm gonna numb the pain, because I've been there. I've done it. I've done the drugs and the drinking and numbing the pain. It doesn't work. I promise you.
Yeah.
Seeing a therapist is one of the best decisions I ever made. Investing in yourself, that's one of the best decisions I ever made. So yeah, talking to people. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Therapy,
Yeah.
y'all. Man, awesome, man. I thank you for your vulnerability.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's kind of cool, real quick, guys. Like, I've known Austin for maybe, 3 hours now.
Yeah, well, we met like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but yeah, man, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We hung out for maybe an hour or so.
Yeah.
We're sitting out here, but he met me with grace, with love. And I think when you lead that way, you just never know what people want to do for you.
Yep.
Because as soon as you did that to me, I was like, I want to sit down. I want to get your story out to the whole world.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're not on a platform yet, guys, to be able to get it around the whole world, but it will be in front of thousands of people that are going to hear the story, and that's going to be moved by it, and it's going to help people.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to reach out to me through this video, I'd be happy to help. Hop on a call, DM, whatever,
Yeah, and we're gonna put all your information down so everybody sees, where they can reach out to you.
Yeah.
And then, really, like, is there any parting words that you would like to give to the family,
man,
before we get out of here?
Man, love you guys, and just remember, there's greater things ahead. There's light at the end of the tunnel, as one of my friends told me. So, just keep it easy. Don't stress too much.
Keep it easy. And with that said, man, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Have time.
They don't take pics. I'm killing the competition. They still ain't got my permission. I'm finna make my decision. I'm holding out my position.